Welcome back guys to another Zero DTE video, and today Coach Ernie is going to be talking about risk management, so make sure you stay tuned. If you're interested in becoming a pro trader, check out the link in the description to find Coach Ernie's school community. Enjoy guys.
I've been on a losing streak. It's weighing on me.
If it's weighing on you, there's a couple of reasons. Either you've been betting too big, or you haven't been following the plan, or a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think it's more of a just being not following the plan as much. I think it's a problem.
Yeah.
I got too confident and then now it's...
Yeah, but I've seen your trading account and you're doing fine. But if you made some errors here in the last few trades, then just see how you can course correct.
Yeah, I'm lowering my betting size to half of what I was doing just to get back on track.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I'm doing now.
That's not a bad move. One way you can lower your betting size is just push things out a little further and adjust your reason for getting in. So far, you've been doing well. And 2 trades or 3 trades or whatever, however many that we're talking about, don't necessarily mean that you've all of a sudden developed a bad habit, but you should be journaling them and then looking at how you behaved and was it fundamentally different than your last month of trading.
Yeah, a lot of my wins last month were also big ass flies, which is the reason why it was really good. Since now I'm doing more of the out of the money butterflies, they're less win rate than the BS fly.
So you also want to realize, not take as much risk and realize what they are. You're trying to minimize that risk. I know that I have in my trade manual, I talk about 10% of the width is your standard. But over the past 2 years, I've done 2 things that I think are a little bit different than that. I've said that I'm willing to go much less than 10% and I'm willing to go wider.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 corrections I've been making.
I've noticed that also, yeah, other people in the Discord, they put on 50 wide and then farther out, and they get way better winning profits than what I get doing 10% 30 with.
Yep. Yeah, because the reason why you're doing 30 and going 10, because you're closer to the market. You're able to go much closer, so you feel more comfortable with that. And that's the problem. When you're feeling comfortable about a trade, that's usually a problem.
Yeah. That's what I've come to notice. So my max trade for a day is 150. I'm trying to stay around 150. So my first trade I would probably do at 75 cents if I'm doing SPX.
Yeah.
And so the width would be whatever the biggest fly would say for that day in the VIX. Or would you just do it 50 and that's it?
Oh, the big ass fly is always 50.
Oh, not the big ass fly. I'm talking about when you're deciding what width you're going to do the butterfly. Are you going to go with just always do 50, or are you going to go with what the volatility says for that day?
No, I go with what the volatility says, but I usually favor the higher side. And I'll tell you why, because originally my VIX playbook was each range was 5 points lower. And then I increased it. Now I'm thinking maybe even going up another 5 points.
Okay.
So what used to be the 15 to 25 wide used to be 10 to 20, and this used to be 20 to 30. But I increased it. Now I'm thinking maybe even a little wider. And also adjusting my 10% rule down to something a little bit less than that. Maybe make it an 8% rule.
No, yeah, I've noticed that too, that if I just target a little lower, I could get a better price. And also it's just 5 points more out of the money and you get a much lower price. And it's, yeah, I should probably take that one.
So what will end up happening is that you'll be spending a lot less. You'll find your gamma curve starts increasing. So in other words, you'll be paying less and making money faster.
So another thing I've noticed is when you place calls, when you get an up move, you quickly get into profit, right? When you're in a put, it takes a while for the put to settle to get some profit.
But it's been that way lately for sure, because if you were to put 2 butterflies on equidistant apart over the past few weeks, and this might be because we're near all-time highs, if you put them equidistant apart from the market, you'll notice that the same width fly and everything, you'll realize that the call is way cheaper than the put fly. And then the call fly has a big gamma curve on it and makes profit very fast. And then the put fly, its gamma curve is super flat and less.
Thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button below. If you're interested in becoming a pro trader, remember to check out the link in the description for Ernie's school community.